Hey, what's up, Audrey? Good morning, Michelle.
Hey, are you guys still having trouble with the tech Zoom?
Yeah, it's a broken link, and we're trying to figure out with Zoom what's going on because it triggered a double verification, and we can't get into it right now. So Zoom is troubleshooting it. We have no idea like what happened with that specific link, but my tech team told me that it should be fixed within like 24 to 48 hours. So I'm going to make sure the team puts out some sort of communication on that. So sorry about that, Michelle. And anyone else
no worries.
has been trying to get on the tech time.
I'm usually getting ready, so.
Got it. All right. Well, hope you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday so far. And we're gonna hop into today's training. So just to kind of set the stage, what you guys can expect for today's training, we're doing like it's either part 3 or part 4 of the listing presentation series on how to develop the perfect listing presentation. And that's what today's topic is if this is your first time joining this particular mastermind session. This is all about listing domination. So we have 7 different core pieces to listing domination that we rotate through, and developing a good listing presentation and making sure that we're closing as many deals possible is really the focus of this. And so really the same fundamentals also go towards developing a good buyer consultation. So even though the focus might be different and the content might be different, there's still a lot of the same psychology that goes into the process. Does that make sense to everybody? We focus heavily on listings because we want our clients to make sure that they're getting as many listings as possible, because we believe that that's the gateway to having true leverage. That's the gateway to being able to give yourself the time, the time freedom that you need to do other things, whether that be continue to grow your business or have balance with your family, so on and so forth. And so that's why we focus so much in our organization on listings. And we're going to go ahead and kick off today's session by having Bobby. Bobby's been working diligently updating our listing presentation, so we're practicing what we're preaching, and along with the team. And so, does anybody have any questions about what our goal to accomplish is today, or anything else before we dive into the part 4 of today's session?
I'm just going to be open-minded.
Good. And I'm glad you said that, because here's the thing. The reason why we call these mastermind calls is because we don't expect everybody to agree with everything that we train. Who agrees that's not really a good session, really good mastermind, if we're sitting in here not questioning, or processing information, and we're not having open dialogue? We agree on that, right? So like, Tony, I'm glad you said that. Open dialogue and different points of view is 100% not only like acceptable here, but we expect it, because that's how you get to a better overall solution and how you process information better. And so that's how true mastermind should function.
Can I share something that was shared with me recently?
Yeah, please.
I was told that if I'm a listing agent, I'm an employer. If I'm a buyer's agent, I'm an employee.
Well, that's pretty blunt. That's pretty blunt, but from a leverage standpoint, there is I can see why somebody might say that, because it's very hard to grow a business if you're strictly a buyer's agent. It really is creating a job, a high-paying job, if you're strictly a buyer's agent, because there's no leverage in it, or it's very hard to get leverage. So I don't know who told you that. But that's interesting. But being a dominant listing agent is really the first step to really building a truly powerful, productive team. I can say that. So I don't know if I'll say you're an employee versus employer, but that we'll leave it there. So Bobby, what do you want to do first? Do you want to go through the steps that you built out, or do you want to dive right into the listing presentation? Where do you want to go from here?
We could do the listing presentation or go through the steps, I guess, whatever everybody wants to go through first. I'm ready for both.
Why don't we do a quick recap of the steps just for 5 to 7 minutes? Make sure everyone has that document and then go through the listing presentation.
Okay.
And then from there, we want to make sure we have time at the end. If you guys can start writing down the top 5 objections you get at the closing table, that's what we're going to focus on at the end of the session, is the top 5 objections that you get at the, that really we need to make sure we have good scripts and dialogues and good language for. So just so you know, if this is your first time listening to Bobby, he's my partner and team leader of our team, and also runs our brokerage. And at any given point, we have between 20 to 30 listings and or transactions pending. And so he's in the trenches. He's teaching the team, leading by example. So the stuff that we're talking about here, it's not theoretical BS that's just taught from a stage. This is stuff that we are actually using in the trenches right now in today's market, to give you a little bit of a reference point of where Bobby's coming from. So Bobby, I'll turn it over to you.
Perfect. Do you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. So I don't want to bore the people that have, been on these sessions last time. So I'm just going to go through it, and Isaiah, you can stop me if you want me to, dig deeper into.
Yeah, just Bobby, just take a pause in between each one of them and ask them if anyone has any questions behind the psychology of it, as a quick review here. And if you want to watch the recording from the last session, I'll show you guys how to get access to that at the end. That sound good? Okay.
Perfect. So first we talked about, when we're at the appointment, when we're at that door, first impressions are key. Just introduce yourself. Don't be too formal. I feel like formality kills the deal. It puts up guards. Anybody have questions on that? No? All right. I have to always set my stuff down at the kitchen table or wherever. I just want to walk as if you're having, the mentality behind this is, I want to be a guest in your house, because people don't have their guards up when they have guests over. So that's why I don't want to walk around with an iPad. I don't want to walk around with papers, a binder, my briefcase, anything. And then I ask them to basically show me their house. If they offer you a drink or anything, which a lot of people do, again, even if you're not thirsty, take it, just because you want to be a guest. You want that to go into their mentality is you're a guest. You're not there for business. Any questions there? Nope. All right. And then throughout the home tour, I ask tons of questions. And this is where I feel like where you actually make or break the deal is where you're building rapport with them. So throughout the house, if you see pictures and sports teams and just different stuff, I make connections. Oh, you played soccer? I played soccer, whatever that is. And I will ask them questions too that is involved with the real estate. Are you interviewing any other agents? Have you spoken to anybody? What price do you have in mind? What updates have you recently, done? Any questions there? And then at the dining room table, when we get back and I'm going to go through my listing presentation, I sit next to them. I don't like putting the barrier between us, so I don't sit across from the table. And, maybe on a little angle, and I'll have my listing presentation here. So we're both looking at it and going through it together. So during that listing presentation, I sell the company, then I sell myself or my team, and then I sell the product. Because I feel like if they believe in your company, then they believe in you, they're going to believe in your product. If you've done a good job with everything else, building rapport, they're not going to question your commission. They're not going to question if you're going to be able to get the job done or not. They're going to believe in everything that you tell them.
There's some healthy dialogue around this last week in our mastermind. When we say, and Bobby, I think it's important, when you say sell your company, are you going on a big, long rant of how awesome your company is, or what does that mean? Because I think this was a really, Sean,
I should reword that now that you brought it up. When I mean sell is, I tell stories a lot. I think stories sell. People can relate to stories. So I don't tell my company does this. I don't even get into that. Hey, our company was developed. Here's the story behind how it was developed and why we developed the company, right? Because whatever company you have, you're solving somebody's problems. That's why, products and companies exist. So we found this issue in the marketplace, and here's how we solved that. That's why this company was created. Then our team, how we're a part of the bigger picture, what our team has done. My team is Audrey, John, Tracy, and I'll have a picture of them in the listing presentation. And here's what Audrey does. Here's what John does. I'm not telling them I'm trying to sell your house, or anything. I'm just explaining the dynamics of our team. And then I'll go into it a little deeper and I'll explain, why we chose to be a team with these team members. What John brings to the table, what Tracy brings to the table, what I bring to the table, what Isaiah brings to the table. And that's necessarily not saying, Tracy's going to do all your marketing and this person's going to do that and that person's going to do that. But it's more of we brought all our powers together to have this very strong team. Does that kind of make sense? I know we dug deeper into it last week. I just don't, because we could talk the whole hour, just on that portion.
Yeah, if you have more questions about that, I would go back and watch last week's session. It was really great, really good. So,
and then after that, what I'll do is I'll pull up our team website, the testimonial section, and I'll say, hey, listen, if you're interested in reviews and testimonials, here's where you could find it. I don't read them testimonials. I don't show them, or make them read it. I show them, we've got at least 20 on our website, and here's where you can find it. And then what I will do is step 8, I will show them a custom website we built out for a listing that is superior than theirs. So that just reinforces hey, other people with much better properties essentially have trusted me to get the job done. And we did get the job done. And here's proof. And then at that point, throughout this whole process, you feel them out. So if you feel like they're going to sign on the spot, if you give them the right number, then I pull my laptop out and I will do a CMA on the spot with them. If they're telling me they're interviewing other agents throughout my home tour and they say, hey, listen, we're not going to, make a decision tonight, then what I will do is I will go to step 9, but part 2 is I'll set up a second appointment. And the way I do that is I tell them, I can't really price your house without looking at it. I was here, I saw your house. Thank you for opening up to me. I'm going to go do some homework on it. Can I call next Tuesday at 2 p.m.? I already set that second appointment to go over the numbers. While the other agents, they're there giving their numbers and they have no second follow-up, except with phone, a text message. I'm there in front of them. I set up that second appointment.
anybody have any questions or concerns or any dialogue around step 9? Anything to talk through there?
And then after that, if I do the CMA and either I'm there on the first appointment or second appointment. After the CMA is completed, I go in for a close. So the way I go in for a close is I'll ask them, when do you want the photographer to come out? Yeah. When can we have the sign guy come out? When can I put the lockbox out? And I'll start jotting these dates on a piece of paper, which is my listing agreement. And then I'll slowly fill it out while we're setting, some dates and timelines up. And then I'll say, hey, we agreed on that, $300,000 price, right? And then I'll jot it down. And then once I jot everything down, I will turn it over and I'll just say, I need your approval to move to the next step. So I don't necessarily use the word contract. I ask them questions because that's my close. And then that's pretty much it. Yep.
Good. And this is primarily what we're going to focus on today is the art of the close, and this process of transitioning from presentation to an enrollment. We just wanted to give everyone a quick recap, and a lot of you are asked a couple of good questions along the way. So before we get into that presentation to close or get into the enrollment and some of that dialogue, what I did is I dropped a link to the drive. It's called the Listing Domination Toolkit, and it has everything you need from marketing materials to listing presentations to the listing presentation script that he's going through with you right now. It has everything in it. Okay. Just really quickly, Bobby, if you don't mind me sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Here's how you find all of the materials for those of you that maybe are still getting familiar with the Ren environment. What you want to do is go to your dashboard. So if you guys could go to your dashboard for me really quick. How you get to your dashboard is you go to realestatenexus.io and then just click on dashboard. Look at this handsome fella here. Who is this guy? Who's that handsome fella? so then we go in here and you click on the Ren Sales and Marketing Academy. You're going to see here at the top, this is what we call our sales acceleration blueprint. For those of you that are brand new, or maybe you've been with us for a little bit and you want to make sure you have you have our process completely implemented. This is the first 7 steps to success. So you can use that as a checklist to say, okay, how well have I done how well am I doing at each of these 7 steps? And then below here, we start getting into our daily group training. And today we're talking about listing domination. So you can access all of those recordings by just clicking this recording button. And you can get access to the previous trainings that we've done here. And then if you keep scrolling down, okay, here's our challenges, here's our boot camps that we run. And this right here is if you are this is what we call advanced sales and marketing training that we're working through right now. And for those of you that are joining this class, we're on listing domination secrets. So what will happen is when you click this link, it will give you access to that same drive that I just shared with you. If I show a chat, does that pathway make sense to you? Does everyone feel like you can find this on your own? If you had to find these marketing materials again, that you have a clear picture of where to find it? Because I know there's nothing more frustrating than trying to find something and you're like, where is that again? Right? So, okay. So if you're brand new, your first mission is to get all this stuff implemented, these steps implemented, and you're going to come to service and support, or if you have a marketing coach, that's what you're going to do there. You can go back to any recordings that you want from any of our group coaching and workshops here. And this is to access the materials that we train and all the master classes. And if you keep scrolling down, we have an awesome resource section here for you to check out. It has everything along the way, including our listing presentation that we recommend you use that we're going over today. So quick tour, Bobby, I'll hand it back to you for the next step. So Bobby, I think you've been, is there an update you want to give us on the listing presentation before we get into closing an enrollment, or what do you want to do there?
I could show the current listing presentation that we're working on, just so everybody gets an idea. And
that sound good to everybody? You want to see it quick?
Probably share that with everybody as well. All right, let me pull this up, share my screen. All right, you guys see my screen over here?
Yep.
All right, so we're still working on this, so it's not 100%. So if you guys see some spelling mistakes, don't shoot me.
Shoot Audrey.
Yeah. So this is our cover page. We're gonna have, basically, to go over this, some agents like paper print, other agents like iPads and laptops. So we're gonna have this printed out into a booklet, so the agents can either take something tangible or use it on Google Slides as a slideshow.
How many people, out of curiosity, drop it in the chat, use an iPad, or you use a printed version of the listing presentation by show chat, just out of curiosity? And I'd like to hear why you prefer one over the other, Bobby. I think that'd be interesting to find out. Well, and Bobby, because you use a iPad, right?
Yeah, I use my iPad.
Okay.
And I got the iPad pencil, so if somebody needs to sign a contract, I do it right on the iPad.
Cool.
And for me, it's simple because, like I said, I never do a CMA, without the homeowner. So when I need to do a CMA, I do it right on the iPad. We walk through everything together, and it's just
cool.
Easier too.
Cool. So these steps that Bobby went over are built into the listing presentation. So if you take those steps and you can kind of compare them and have a general pathway. So when you're building your own listing presentation, you can look at those steps and say, okay, I may not agree with every single thing here, but let me use this as a checklist to make sure I got a rock solid listing presentation, because there's a lot of great psychology with those steps in there. And I know some people have asked some questions. We're going to do Q&A at the end. I promise we'll get to your questions. I wrote them down. So go ahead, Bobby.
Perfect. So this is our intro, or cover page if it's printed. Table of contents. I think this is important. If anybody's on public speaking, it's great to tell them what steps you're going to go through so they can hold their questions back. That's what it's mainly for. And then that is also aligned with the steps on the sheet. So it's in the same exact order because, that's the mentality that we're building and the psychology behind it. So who are we? Our vision and our mission. This is directly from our website. We're touching this up. So again, partners, that's me as a principal broker, and Isaiah. I'm not done with my bio yet. My bio was too long. I got to, make it look nice like Isaiah's. But again, just telling everybody where, how the company was established and where everybody's background is from. See, there's no selling here. It's just all informative, just getting to know each other.
Michelle says, handsome guy. She's sold.
Thank you.
My picture's not up there.
Yeah, this is our old team picture. We gotta.
This is our team.
Yeah, we gotta update our team picture. A lot of people left. We got a lot of new people. But the crew, the community, I think it's important to, show them that we're involved in the community and we're not just here to make money. So this is where we're working for Habitat for Humanity, and you can see Isaiah in the corner slacking off and just making everybody else work.
Well, Old habits die hard.
Yeah. So the success awards that we've won with our team members and whatnot. The network, I look at you guys as a network. We actually, from Lee, we got an $800,000 referral for a buyer. So I think this is important to show our clients as well, that the community that we're developing and what we're doing.
You can get a nice picture of everybody on there.
Yeah. Maybe when we have everybody on there, everybody can pose instead of me just screenshotting. Who's our HA Elite? So this just talks about our team, how we're developed, what we do. And I'm not going to bore you guys because everybody has different methods of structuring their team and whatnot. Price it right. This is where we go into. It's not what you paid, what your agent says, what the rebuild cost is. It's all about market value. I love throwing this article in there for Zillow.
That's a very powerful slide, by the way. Like, there's a couple key slides in here. When you scroll up, it's so important to get them thinking about this. If you go back, just one, to get them thinking in the right direction, there's a lot of psychology at this point that goes into this process, because if they're not thinking about, you're not guiding them to think about how the price of their property should be early and often, and that becomes a center point of the conversation. Like, late, you're in trouble. Like, you're setting yourself up for a lot of pushback if you're not handling, if you're not weaving in the psychology of how the home should be priced throughout the presentation. Anything you want to add onto that, or does anybody have any questions or disagreements or thoughts about that? Good. Does everyone understand why? There's nothing worse than a homeowner feeling like they're blindsided about a pricing conversation, and there's not been any consultation throughout the process and how they got there. It's a horrible feeling for a homeowner. So, Bobby, you want to speak to this slide a little bit more in depth? I think this is important, why you laid it out like this.
Yeah. So every homeowner, if they invite you to their house, they have a price in mind, even though they'll a lot of times they'll say, no, I don't know. That's why I asked you to come over. They have a price in mind, regardless of if, what they spoke with their, somebody at work, with their significant other, with a friend, family, neighbor, brother-in-law, anybody. So that's why I love this slide, and I will touch on each point of this. And then I will say, it's not even what I tell you the house is worth. It's market value. That's what our goal is. And then I have the next few slides to dig deeper into this. This is just a visual. It skims the surface, and then I dig another step deeper into it.
Go ahead.
I like that slide, by the way.
Sorry, what?
He said he likes the slide.
Oh, thank you. So a lot of people, Zestimates, I don't even have to explain what that is. Hate them. So I love putting this on there. So I basically say, if they're losing money because they can't sell their own flips, how credible is Zillow, giving you a price for your property? How do you want to, lose your biggest investment in your life because you just went off of a Zestimate? And John, yesterday, we were at a listing appointment. He told the client, he's like, how much did you pay for that Zestimate? The guy's like, nothing. It's online. He's like, well, that information's worth, just about what you paid for it. I was giving it to the client back a little, but.
That's great. That's a great line.
So I put that slide in there. And then here's where I'll tell him, I'll say, listen, I'm just going to summarize this. At the end of the day, we have to price it right for the market. I'm not going to read you all these prices, but through my whole listing presentation, the next 10 pages will probably be about pricing, because that is very important, is where we price the house. So I'm not going to insult your intelligence. I'm not going to read you this. I'm leaving you this, whether it's a physical copy or if it's an emailed copy, and you can go through it, and you have my number if you have any questions. Then I pulled this up. Do you know Edith?
Yeah, I know.
So I love this. She's actually a local to Rochester. I was told we all have realtor numbers. Like mine is 48111. What's yours?
3632.
3632. Her number is probably like
5.
Yeah, she was like one of the first realtors in Rochester. So the biggest thing about her is she was on all these talk shows and whatnot. Syndicated newspaper column. And a lot of people who can't sell their houses or have real estate issues would mail questions in and she would answer them. And this article basically talks about overpricing your house and people are getting offers, but their house isn't selling. Essentially, they're like, you know, giving the homeowner is giving her excuses. My house isn't selling because of this, house isn't selling because of that. And at the end, her answer is, whatever you just stated, it's all about the price, right? You have this thing wrong with your house, you have that thing wrong with that house. You're either going to spend a lot of money to change it, or you're going to pick it up, hire house movers and move your house, or you just reduce the price. So again, I don't read this to my clients, but I tell them it's there if they have any questions. And then I have this on her Wikipedia, and it talks about her credibility of what she is. And she's a huge advocate of pricing the house correctly the first time. And in her article, she talks about how if you overprice it, you actually end up selling it for less. So again, price, 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 price. And I like this slide because it puts humor to it. And this is my last slide about pricing it. And I say real estate is like dating. The longer you're on the market, the more people wonder what's wrong with you. And, you know, I like to throw a little humor in there. And this, I feel like people get, right? Because we sell real estate every day. We're in the industry, but maybe somebody sells or buys a house once every 10 years. So they don't acknowledge that like we do. And another story I tell all my clients is, hey, listen, you know, regardless of what we price this house at, if we were to price this, and I want to try this, by the way. So if I could get a client to sign up for this, I'm going to try this. And I tell them, if we could price this house at $1, do you think it's going to sell for $1? No, we'll get, 1,000 showings and multiple offers. Okay. So the max offer, it's going to be more, market value. If we overprice it and we're reducing prices every, month, you're going to still end up at that market value.
Really pushing prices down.
But then you're going to be, probably a little under market value, because then the whole psychology is, why hasn't this house sold when everything else is selling? So they're going to offer you less than they would if you had priced it right originally. So I'm a strong believer of that. One of these listing appointments, I'm going to pitch it and try to get the listing at $1 and list it on the MLS and see what happens there. Because I really do believe that. And I think if we do that, it would be a great
great case study.
Delayed negotiation.
Exactly.
It's like an auction.
So I go through that slide, and then getting your house ready on the market. And throughout my walkthrough of the house, I'm saying, hey, we should change this. If they have a Trump or a Hillary or Biden flag, I'm like, probably take those down, just neutralize the house. So I've already talked about all these points. So I tell them, hey, I'm going to leave this with you so you could go over it. We've already touched on these points. But if you have any questions, again, call me. Steps to moving. If you need anything help, call me. Again, all I'm doing is giving them information. I'm not asking them for the listing. I'm not asking them for their business. I'm just giving at this point.
Very consultative. It's good.
What?
No, it's very consultative. Like, I was just putting myself in the homeowner's mind.
Mm-hmm.
And those are think about the common struggles and concerns that they have, right? And those two slides, I feel like, just help them with that, like, very clearly in a simple way. Like, all right, what do I got to do to maximize the value of my property and get it ready for sale? Like, that they're thinking about that, right? Some of them are trying to come up with their own checklist. Some of them are trying to do research on what the home seller checklist should be, right? And then, okay, they're thinking about all the different things they got to do to move. Those 2 slides just handled those things for them, gave them clarity, gave them focus, gave them peace of mind. And when you give clarity, focus, and peace of mind, you build trust. They learn to like you. And then therefore, because they trust you and they learn to like you, like, so those are critical. Those slides I think are really critical. Something like that. Doesn't have to be exactly like that, but guys, I think like just putting myself in the consumer, like in a homeowner's mind, and actually me having, before I got into real estate, like having experienced that, that's really helpful. Go ahead, Bobby.
So now I talk about marketing. This is right from realtor.com, well, National Association of Realtors. And I say, if we're going to market your house, we should know where, the buyers are coming from. So 56% are coming from online marketing. 17% is realtors. So that's, if you're a for sale by owner, A, you're not going to be on all the websites that we're going to put you on. And B, you're going to miss those realtors. So you're missing about 75, closer to 75% of the market just by being a for sale by owner. And if they're not a for sale by owner, I say that's why it's important to be on the MLS. That's why, we have to work with other realtors. For sale sign, 7%. Contract lenders, if you're refinancing or you're buying another house and you have a lender and the lender might know of somebody that's looking to buy, that's, very high likely. Friends, family, neighbor, unlikely. And it just, yeah. Yeah, so I'll get into that in the other slide, but basically this helps them visualize and see where, where marketing is very important. I tell them we do international marketing, and the way we do international marketing, like everything else, is online. We take your listing and we blast it out on thousands of different websites, and it's actually on 1,246 websites that we put your listing on. So, Mr. Home Seller, or can you see how being on this many websites is very important? And not only are we putting your house on national and international websites, we're also putting your house on our competitors' websites. So you will also be on Keller Williams, Howard Hanna, Remax.com, exp.com, and everybody you can think of. Do you see why this is very important?
I like because we talked about this before, but that eliminates the objection of going with a specific brand. Like if you get that, like if you're, especially if you're independent like us, maybe if you're not independent, it doesn't matter as much, or maybe your brokerage is newer to the area and there's a bigger brand in the area. That one line will help you get over that completely, because it doesn't matter who you're listed with. It's going to be on everyone's website, right? So that's a really important line. Go on.
And then I talk about target marketing and remarketing, follow me ads, and then the way I talk about this is Amazon, because Amazon's great at it. And I asked them, have you ever checked something out on Amazon and then it's followed you throughout your process on social media, on Instagram and whatever? And everybody agrees, because we all shop online. So I basically say, let's say you're looking at a house, do I really want to go see this house? Yes, no, maybe. So you close the tab. Now this house is following you around everywhere you go on any website you're at. So if you're on the edge, now you're like, oh, what the hell? Let me go see it. Can you see how that's very important marketing for us, Mr. or Mrs. Home Seller?
Little pause there. So for those of you that are on level 1 or above, you have access to a tool called Remarketing, powered by Whitley. And you can launch all of your just listed, just sold ads campaigns through that tool. And it will do just that. It'll put the ad in front of them. And when they click on it, it'll automatically keep putting it in front of them, it'll start following them. So if you want to know how to execute on that strategy, and you're having trouble figuring it out on your own, then make sure you show up to the the tech classes, and they'll show you how to set up a just listed, just sold ad campaign, so you can take advantage of the remarketing and how service that we offer.
Then I talk about property websites. Depending on, we don't do this for all of our listings, but we do build websites for our higher end listings. So if it is a higher end listing, we will put the slide in here. If it's not, I usually skip over it. We do 360 virtual tours through Matterport. And I tell them this is very important, because once we market nationally and internationally, what we're seeing in the marketplace, by the way, I don't know if you guys know, nationally, Rochester got selected as the third hottest real estate market in the nation, which is insane, because we're just a small town in upstate New York. So, but we're getting, what we've seen in our marketplace is we're getting a lot of, out of town buyers. And with the market being so hot, they don't have time to fly in. What they're doing is they're viewing the properties virtually and putting in site as is offers. So that's why it's important to, have Matterport and virtual tours throughout your property, so we can attract those buyers. And I have that conversation with the homeowner. Tell them, we do professional marketing, pamphlets, brochures, because, my team, my buyer's agent, will show 20 houses and she'll remember each and every house. But when you have a buyer that's looking at 5 houses, they start mixing stuff up. Oh, which had that nicer kitchen, which had that nice sunroom. So it's important to give them something tangible so they could, go home and share it with their family. This is something we're rolling out new. We just hired a 24/7 call center. What the call center is doing for us is we have their phone numbers on our signs, on our websites and everything. So, with us starting to market nationally and internationally with time zone differences, Mr. Home Seller, they call into our 24/7 call center. The call center will vet those appointments for those buyers. They'll answer questions. And then when we come into the office, we'll have the list, whoever called that day, we will go through them and we will make sure we get them pre-qualified before we're just running random people throughout your house. And this is very important because I want every showing notification that you receive through Supra and through showing time, I want you to know in the back of your head that they're qualified and willing and able buyer for you. So we're not wasting your time, because in this day and age, time is money.
Yeah. So quick question to everybody. What's the benefit of having somebody always answer the phone when a buyer calls in? What are some of and to have that get processed and pushed through your CRM because somebody's handling it the same way every time? What are some of the benefits of that?
It's speed to lead. We want to be first. A lot of people go with the first person they meet.
You capture their info.
Yes, it's a big one.
I put a sign right over with the 1-800 number so they can call anytime.
I think you could actually talk to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. How annoying is it to a buyer, right? If they call and nobody answers their phone and they're looking for a property and they're wondering when they're going to get an update, right? So it accomplished a lot of things. The better client experience. The seller, I think, is going to see a ton of value in it because they're like, hey, I'm going to have, this seems like a pretty streamlined process. And then, like I think Tony said it, we're capturing every lead now, and it's automatically getting pushed into CRM. And those, one of the most powerful things about getting a listing is it generates more leads. Right. And so if you can service your client, create a better client experience, and generate more leads and make sure they're captured in your CRM, that's a freaking no-brainer. Because that one lead that calls in that isn't working with a buyer's agent and not contracted with a buyer's agent, they call in, Now you have an opportunity to also to get more sides of the deal by just having the service set up. And Bobby, we have a lot of dual agency. So like, talk a little bit about that, like how important that is for us in our bottom line.
I think it's double dipping. You've worked hard, you've gotten the listing, and at least in our market right now is if you have the listing, you have the golden ticket. So why do I want to share that commission with another agent? I love you guys, but I'm not, in this business for charity. I'm in it to make money and feed my family. So what our whole goal is to get in touch with that buyer. And yeah, we do always ask them, do you have a buyer's agency agreement? Honestly, nobody signs them. We don't even sign buyer's agency agreements. And then I'll tell them, I'll say, hey, listen, if you buy this house, we have a script for that. If you buy this house through us, our client gets a commission break. So if you were to offer $300,000 with your agent, and if you were to offer $300,000 with us, it's gonna, offering with us is gonna net my seller more money. So do you see how, writing an offer with us is more beneficial for you? And
Let's give them information. So they can
yeah.
make a decision.
And again, just like John said over here, we're giving them information. We're not forcing them, but any logical person, especially in the market like this, where everybody's getting beat out, I'd say out of the last 10 transactions that we've sold this month, I'd say probably 5 to 6 of them were dual agent.
What's that going to do? What would that do for your bottom line, folks? Oh yeah, it's a big difference.
It increases almost by 25%.
Times that by 12 months and start doing the math on the difference in commission. Just by focusing on getting more deals where you can get both sides. Another reason to become a list, to really focus your marketing plan on getting listings. It's a huge, huge difference. Tony says his state doesn't like dual agency.
Do they allow it?
Do they allow it or they don't like it?
They allow it, but they frown on it.
They frown on it everywhere. They frown on it here too, but it's legal. So as long as you're not stepping on anybody's toes, and that's why, first question, do you have a buyer agency sign? No. And here's the thing, guys, I do give my, sellers a commission break if I do dual agents, and I put that right in my listing agreement. And I don't give them a big commission break, but I do give them something. Even if you put $1 off, right? It works with your script. They're still netting more writing the same offer with me than with somebody else. So you don't have to give them an insane discount, but you got to give them some sort of discount. So, just
$500 Home Depot gift card.
Yeah, $500 discount, half a point off, or, whatever you're willing to give up.
Bobby, I'm wondering too, like if it was really bad, like was causing a lot of problems, could you refer it at 50% to somebody in your brokerage? Like, could it be a referral opportunity if like the seller doesn't like the dual agency or?
Well, here's the thing. You can refer it. You can refer it to anybody, but at least in our listing contracts in New York, there's a section in there for agency. You have to disclose advanced consent for dual agency. So when I'm signing the listing contract, I will always pre-check that, and I explain to them what this is, my sellers, and I say, hey, Mr. Seller, I went ahead and pre-checked advanced dual agency because here's the deal. If a buyer calls me directly and you don't give me consent to talk to that buyer directly, and they're asking me questions about your house or they want to put an offer in on your house, if you don't check this box, I got to say, hey, go find another realtor. I can't talk to you. My homeowner didn't allow me to. And what if that, buyer goes and talks to a different agent sells them one of their listings? Now you lost a buyer. So by not checking this and allowing me to do dual agency, you're really doing yourself a disservice. So that's why I went ahead and checked it for you. Is that an issue? Oh, no, we want you to talk to buyers. That's why we're hiring you. Great.
Thanks for hopping on, Tony. We'll catch you next time. Good. This is great dialogue, Bobby. I think there's a lot of gold in what you just said. I hope everyone doesn't take that for granted and is taking really good notes right now, because if you apply some of these things, it can mean a big difference in your bottom line. And you're, in most cases, you're going to be serving the client in a better fashion in most cases, not every case, but I don't know about you. If you can make more money and the client can have a better experience, I'm in. I'm in, so obviously there's always situations that rule might not apply, but it's a huge, this is big. So thanks for sharing that, Bobby. It's good advice. Go ahead.
And then the last part of this slide is feedback. I'm just going left to right. I tell them through showing time, we have, agents that do show your property will have to fill out a feedback document. Once they fill that out, that's 100% transparent. That comes to your email. You get that the same time I do. So, if we had 10 showings and 1 or 2 of them said they don't like the yellow kitchen, who cares? We're not in the business to make everybody happy. But if we have 10 showings and 8 of them say they don't like your yellow kitchen, then you and I have to sit down and have a conversation about it. We either repaint the kitchen or reduce the price. That's your only 2 options. But, I don't have a glass globe. I don't know what everybody 100% wants. And the thing we're going to have to do when we're marketing your house is we're going to constantly be altering our marketing plan, and we're going to be working together to do that. So that's why it's very important that you read the feedbacks once you receive them, so we could work together on improving the buyer experience, hence getting you a better price and a smoother sale. So now I told them what to do. Now we're a team, right? I assigned them a task to do, and we're in this together. So that's the mentality I'm going after when I pull that card. I have this slide over here. It talks about pictures, is worth 1,000 words, which we all agree. I talk about professional photography and how important it is, because we talk about first impressions. The first impression is on a website. So we have all of our pictures done professionally, and they enhance everything. And then here's just some few examples of the enhancements that they do, including virtual professional staging and including professional unstaging, decluttering.
If you guys go to our dashboard, on your dashboard, you'll see a company named Box Brownie. You click on that link, that's who we use, and they're absolutely phenomenal. So, if you need a company, one of the companies anyway.
And then depending on, if their house needs staging or decluttering or whatever it is, I will focus on that slide. And then, like at the bottom over here, it says generate 30% more leads. So there's my reasoning for, wanting a property staged or unstaged or professional photography or, whatever it is. So this justifies it. And a lot of agents don't do staging. A lot of agents don't do professional photography. They're on their iPhones, right? So again, this is a value that we're giving to all of our clients. Testimonials. I have some testimonials. I have residential properties. I have commercial properties. I have, videos, PDFs in here. What I do is these are all clickable links.
Sorry to interrupt you. We had a question come in. When do you stage or do floor plan? Are you paying or the client? Was the question.
We're paying for everything ourselves. Every market is different. I've heard of people charging a reduced commission and charging, an upfront marketing fee. In some markets, we pay for that, to pay for stuff like that. But what we do is, I won't take a listing unless I know I'm going to sell it. If they're not agreeing with me on the price, I'm not going to take it. But our marketing plan for each listing, we at least spend, a few $100s on professional photos and drones and Matterport and this and that. So I tell my clients directly, hey, listen, I'm spending a lot of money to market this house. If we can't agree on the price, I don't want your listing. The reason for that is I'm investing my time, my money, and, you know, my team efforts into selling your house. Yeah. John has a saying, I'd rather turn you down than let you down. But like I said before, we're in this to make money. So if I know a listing is overpriced and I'm going to have a hard time selling that, my time is, you know, better spent following up on new leads and, you know, getting the listing priced correctly. Because each listing is an investment for us, right? We're spending money, we're spending time, we're spending, you know, our technology, we're spending our team efforts.
Mm-hmm.
So why waste your time? Why waste your funds on something you know that's not going to sell? And I see, you know, realtors doing this a lot of the time, and some realtors can get away with it because they do no marketing. They just list it on the MLS, right? It's a shotgun approach. Let me take some pictures with my iPhone and let me throw it on MLS. And we have a brokerage in town that is well known for having overpriced listings. So John can explain. He went on a listing appointment. These guys were overpricing how much? Like 20 grand?
Well, way high.
It was you know, way high. So he's like, I'm not, you know, he packed this stuff up. He's walking out and he's like, hey, why don't you call ABC company? And he goes, I think they want like 200. He goes, why don't you ask them to list it for 250? Because they will. Yeah, so he set them up for even more failure. But, you know, that also pokes stories and, you know, and other brokerages holes, you know. It's, hey, if they'll take a listing at any price, what kind of service am I really getting? What kind of, you know, marketing budget are they really spending on my house? Are they just really going to throw it on the MLS and hope that it sells on its own?
Yeah, that's good. Next question that we didn't get to yet is, it was a slide about your company, and they said that what if your company, you've been hearing people having bad experiences with that company, like if it's a bigger brand, how do you overcome that when you're going to sell your company or tell the story behind your company?
So your company must have a good story as why it was developed. I would lead with that story. If there is any questions about that, you know, that comes up, I would address that then. And the way I would address that is, hey, that's why I don't work, you know, I work at this company, but I have my own team, or I'm on this team because of this, right? And explain to them, you know, how a brokerage works. And I guarantee you, though, you know, unless your broker's, you know, doing something wrong, it's probably other teams that are, you know, screwing up the name for the company. So, hey, say, this is what our team does. You know, all this has been done by, for example, we had a deal with a team with Keller Williams, and the agent, very, very rough, top producer, but very rough. I'm not going to give any names. And I know the owner of Keller Williams here, was talking to him. He let her go. And I asked him, I said, hey, why'd you let her go? You know, she's producing very well. It's like, she's too rough. We've gotten so many complaints. And he goes, I can't have that, you know, he goes, I can't have that affiliated with my business. So if your broker does let some agents go, you know, tell stories like that. Don't give any names. Don't get into details. Just say, hey, listen, you know, if that is a question, yes, some teams have done stuff that were inappropriate or that was not good. Our broker has decided to let them go. Here's my team, not affiliated with that team, and here's what we do.
So if I'm hearing you, is just make sure you have if you know you're getting that objection, make sure you have a story and some scripts and dialogues in place to overcome that objection if it comes up.
And guys, I mean, essentially, that is correct, Isaiah. But essentially, if your broker's not doing anything for you and it's constantly putting roadblocks ahead of you, maybe it's time to change brokerages, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's a good thought. Yep.
You know, here's the way I look at brokerages, and you know, here's the way I run our brokerages. With agents, I think a lot of agents, I forgot the gentleman's name who said it, but a lot of agents will look at their broker as an, you know, employer. Like, oh, I'm going to hang my license with you. I'm going to go work and I'm going to give you a part of my check. And that's, I think, the Uncle Sam mentality, right? What's your broker really doing for you? Why are you giving him a portion of your check? Is he giving you office, technology, leads? What are they offering? And with our agents, you know, we try to be, we look at it more like a partnership. How can we help each other grow? You know, your work ethic, you know, can I give you leads? Can I give you technology and leverage your work ethic, and you leverage my marketing and my leads, and it's a partnership, and you're going to go sell, and whatever you sell, we split it, you know, at whatever our split is, you know. And I think that's, you guys should look into what your brokers are, you know, offering for you. Because a lot of them, they take high commissions and they don't offer anything.
Mm-hmm. That's good. All right, we got the CMA.
All right, CMA. I talked to them about what a CMA is versus an appraisal and what's the difference. And then I have this slide. What is a home appraisal? I'm not going to read it to you guys, but it talks about, section over here, uniform standards of professional appraisal practices to hold a strong industry guidelines. What is a CMA? There's no guidelines. It's, you know, what an agent tells you. And then how is an appraisal done? You know, come down here. An appraisal visits a property and visually inspects the interior, exterior of the home. They will assess the problems they find and factor that into the valuation. So going back to that Google Docs, remember, I don't give a price right then and there. I tell them, hey guys, whatever price I give you, it's not an appraisal, it's a BPO. But at the end of the day, we have the appraisal approach, because that's what we found out, you know, helps in this market. How can I price your house, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, without actually seeing the product? You know, you had ABC company come here. They gave you a price on, you know, on the first day they were here. Yeah. Okay. How'd they give you that price? Oh, I don't know, but they said it was worth 300. So I think this is more like a UVP, and it also pokes holes in other realtors' stories. How'd they price your house without looking at it? You said they were here for the first time, you know, last time, and they already pre-came with a price. How is that, you know, how's that doing your property justice?
Just not a professional approach.
Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but everybody I run into, all these realtors, and I work for big franchises, they preach, here's how you do a CMA, you print it, you go, and then you try to get the listing on your first, but it's not reality. So I know big companies, you know, they're just doing CMAs. They're not doing that two-step approach. So if you implement that into your business, you could get rid of, you know, a lot of your competition that are interviewing for the same job. Any questions there? And then the Zillow slide again, right? So I'm like, great example, guys. Zillow hasn't been in your house. They don't know your house. Zestimate, you know? This is what other realtors are doing too. What do you think they're using? They're using some sort of software that determines what your house is worth, you know, from your neighborhood. How realistic is you know, the price they're giving you? That's why you need a appraisal approach than a regular CMA approach. And I constantly dig deeper and deeper into this with them, because that's where my credibility comes from. And once I built all that rapport, I built the trust in the beginning of the slides. Again, we gave. Now it's, you know, now we're starting to ask for the business. We have different, UVPs. I put this in there. I say, hey, listen, if you sell your property, let's make this more for sale by owners. But if you sell your property while it's listed, then you don't pay me a commission. So this is how we, gain for sale by owner listings. And I say, let's make it like a game. Who could sell the house faster, you or I? If you sell it, you've got nothing to lose.
Guess how many times they ever sell it on their own
Never.
before we find somebody? Zero. Zero times. Not ever once. You want to land a lot of for sale by owners? Use this method. You'll crush it with FSBOs.
Flexible commission schedules. Again, I told you right in my listing presentation, I have it built out, not listing presentation, but my listing contract, I have it built out that if I dual agents, I'm going to give them some sort of a break. Is that flexible or from the market standard? I think that is, right? That gives us another edge. Cancel a listing at any time. So in our listing contracts, we put a date in there, 3 months, 6 months, whatever that is. But I tell my clients, if you don't like me for who I am or what I do or the service I'm providing, you could cancel within, just give me a written letter and then I'll remove the market within 24 hours. And this is just me putting, my money where my mouth is. I feel like I'm going to offer you such a spectacular service that you're not going to want to cancel me. And you know what? If I am sucking at my job and I'm not performing, fire me. I'm not going to hold you to that contract like every other brokerage in town will. But I know you're not going to fire me because I know what I offer and, it's top tier. And then another advance, no advance fees of any kind. I know that was a question that, that was asked. Some brokerages, like I said, do not offer, but they do request marketing fees up front and all that, and we don't.
Yep. One comment here, guys, and please listen to this closely. Don't get caught up into the details here as you're processing this information and be like, well, I couldn't do that. Or I don't feel comfortable offering that. Make your own home seller advantage program. He's showing you an example. Does that make sense to everybody of what we feel comfortable doing? Your VIP home seller program or the seller advantage program that you have, you make it whatever you feel comfortable executing on. But the big thing is you can't make sure that you have one. Make sure you have something that is a unique program that separates you from your competition. And essentially that's what Bobby's done here is he's put together things that based on his experiences, our market, the niches that we're going after, works extremely well for us. So the commitment here you guys should be making is saying, okay, what kind of program can I put together that's going to make me unique or make our team unique? That makes sense to everybody? Okay.
And another thing we have on our writers is, and I don't know if you guys would want to do this, but our writers on top of our for sale sign says, buy this house and we'll sell yours for free. And again, that just pushes dual agency. So I have a seller's net sheet if they need it. And then here's the schedule, like I talked about. If I'm booking that, CMA, that second time I'm coming, I put the date here. When are we doing photos? When are we doing sign? This is my close. This is where I'm filling out documents. And then, I got a little notepad, but that's pretty much it. This is where I'm filling out those documents. That's where I'm filling out the contracts. And then here, Mr. Home Seller, just approve this. That's pretty much my process. Any questions there?
Cool. I know we went over today, but we wanted to get through the presentation. Do we have any quick questions before we wrap up and I show you guys how to find this material? We're going to have to just get into the closing and objections next Wednesday. So that'll be next Wednesday's focus. It's all about enrollment and closing. And then as promised, we're going to show you how we generate more listing opportunities from this listing, more leads from our listings, and step by step on how we market it. So that's going to be the next 2 to 3 weeks coming up. So how to overcome the top objections and enroll to get more contracts, and then how to market our properties to generate more leads from our listings and to give them a better client experience. So that'll be next week. But did anybody have any quick questions in the meantime? Let's give Bobby a huge round of applause even if you got 1 or 2 things of value out of this right along the way. I know he's put a ton of work into it to revamp it for our team, which is awesome. Just a quick reminder, if you're wondering how to find anything, okay, just go to your dashboard, click on the Ren Sales and Marketing Academy from the dashboard. If you're brand new with us, or maybe you just need to recalibrate, these are the critical steps, the 7 steps to master of the Sales Acceleration Blueprint to make sure you're having success with our tech stack. Okay. And then as you scroll down, this is where you get access to all of the trainings and the past trainings and recordings, okay, that we've done. So you got your technology trainings here. You have your Monday, Wednesday, Friday workshops here, and you have your live prospecting role play that we do on Thursdays here for recordings. Here's the schedule, our free challenges, our boot camps. And then this right here is what the class that you joined on Wednesday. This is Listing Domination Secrets. And when you click on this link, it'll give you access to all the materials that we're covering on these Wednesdays. So you just click on that link and it'll bring you to that folder that I shared with you earlier in the chat. And then if you keep scrolling down, you have a resource sections here, and you have everything you need to do marketing for your business. You have postcard templates, home seller video templates. You have a completely done for you marketing kit with blog posts, social media posts, email nurture everything you need. And it's done every single month for you, where you can take it and adjust it and implement it. You have infographics, you have our playbook. You can go through Breakthrough Broker and customize any of your marketing materials. They have hundreds of examples of every type of marketing material you could think of. And this right here is where the updated listing presentation will be. Bobby, if you could make sure Clara, just shoot her a quick note to update that link to get that listing presentation. So I know we went over, but I thought this is a really great session. Anything for those of you that have been trying to go to the tech class and not been able to get in, we just found out the link was broken, and we've been trying to contact Zoom. Somebody tried hacking our Zoom account. So I apologize, but there's some scumbag out there that's that went in and messed with our Zoom account. So Zoom locked it down, and we're trying to get it back open again. So I'm just being very transparent with what's going on, but we apologize for any inconvenience that it's caused for those of you that are trying to join the tech classes. Okay. So it will be fixed within 24 to 48 hours. And with that, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and go out and implement what you learned and give us feedback along the way, and let's mastermind and get better together. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks again, Bobby. Thanks.